And so I am getting ready to bring our next guest. So I want to thank everyone. If you heard me before, you know that Streamline said I cannot comment. So I cannot comment on my own summit today, but I want to tell you that I do appreciate each and every one of you that are joining us right now because you appreciate what we do. And guess what? We appreciate you being here because you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here today. So for that reason, we appreciate you. For everybody watching us now, Precious Killer. Oh, Precious, thank you for watching us. Precious Williams from Killer Pitch Master. I appreciate you. Mariana Ford, she's going to be one of our speakers coming next. And Janice Cummins, thank you for watching. And Loana Parker, she was our first speaker today. Anna, thank you, Anna, for joining us today and staying with us. And Giselle is going to be one of our speakers today, coming to us all the way from Trinidad. So thank you all. I am going to introduce our next speaker. All right, I think our next speaker is ready. She's ready and waiting. She is ready and waiting, my new friend. Our next speaker today is Michelamone Anderson, and she's going to be talking about how ineffective communication can impact your personal relationships and business. And of course, she is a relationship strategist and a coach. Please help me welcome today Michelamone Anderson. Take it away, girl.
Thank you so much, Christy. I appreciate you. Thank you for allowing me to be on this platform with you. I appreciate it. So, you just want me to just go ahead on in?
Yes, go ahead and take it all the way.
All right. So, first of all, we're going to be talking about today the impact of ineffective communication in your personal and your business life. And I would like to share my screen because I'm a PowerPoint girl. Okay. And I always want to make sure that people are getting the points because I am naturally a teacher. So I want to make sure that we are getting the best out of this. So let me go ahead and get my screen shared out if we can. Let me see if this will work for me. Let's see. No, I think that I would have had to. Well, that's okay because I think that I would have. Yeah, it will do it. Yeah. So I guess it's going to only work if hopefully, let's see. So I didn't get a chance to practice on this one here. Well, let me just go ahead through this way. Take some notes. That's what I'm going to ask. Make sure that you are taking some real effective notes because in order for you to really get this, you have to be able to sit with it, to be able to, deal with it, and then to be able to implement it. So we're going to talk about today, again, the impact of ineffective communication in your personal life and your business life. And that really is something that a lot of people do not think about until it actually happens. So before we move into there, let me tell you a little bit who I am. My name is Coach Michelamone. I am considered the brand's coach, and brand stands for build your confidence, rediscover who you are, achieve your goals, navigate your emotions, drop the baggage from all of the past stuff that you've been through so that you can ultimately surpass your self-limiting beliefs. And I've gotten that after being talked about as being the confidence coach, but I've kind of expanded that a little bit so that I can kind of reach more of the person because I believe that we cannot separate who we are, which is why I'm really dealing with this being in your personal life along with your business life, because you're not one person in your personal life and then a totally separate person in your business life, but you're one and the same. The thing is that people try to separate them and they worry about being effective in one or the other. And usually that means that there are some lack of confidence and things going on, and we're going to talk about that really quickly. So let's move on in. First of all, I want to make sure that you know whoever is sitting here watching this, so that you can know that this is going to be helpful to you. First of all, if you really want to quickly resolve issues in your relationship or in your business, this talk is for you. If you want to create and maintain strong and healthy relationships and make sure that that's good in your life, then this is for you. If you want to build your confidence in yourself as well as in your business, this talk is just for you. Yeah. So if you want to be a strong influencer in your community, then of course, again, this is for you. And lastly, if you want exponential growth, not only personally, but financially in your life, you really want to listen to the points here, because I'm going to tell you, confident people make over 60% more than people that lack confidence. Let me say that again. Confident people and people that effectively communicate, they make over 60% more than those people who are not confident and who do not effectively communicate exactly what it is they want and what they don't want. So let's go ahead and dive on into this. So why should you listen to me? First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about me and why I think that I'm a kind of a guru, for lack of better terms. I don't like the word, but it's the only thing that came to my mind right now. I had a lot of broken relationships. If you want to know my story, I wrote a book called Rejection Saved My Life, and it gives 15 transformational keys on using rejection as fuel. Fuel is an acronym, and it stands for faith upgraded to exponential levels. Now, in that book, I talk about different things that I've gone through. I talk about 4 marriages and 4 divorces. Yeah, I talk about things of that sort. I talk about all the rejection that I've gone through, even from my, being younger, with my mother leaving me. I talked about a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you something. When I started to get older, I started to, try to fix those things by building businesses and creating content and having over 7 different successful business, including a multi-million-dollar insurance agency. And I had that agency and I built it from scratch with me being the first client. Now, all of those things I was trying to do, it was not being who I really was. I wasn't being able to really effectively communicate who I was with other people. I wasn't being that influencer that I thought that I was being. I was being something that everybody else wanted. I wasn't whole in myself. I wasn't that person that I liked. For 32 years, I didn't like who I was. So it's a lot of things that were in that. And so I had to quickly figure out what it is that was actually going on. And I had this aha moment, right? I had this aha moment that made me go, wait a minute. Okay, so all of these things I'm going through, what were they and why are they happening to me, right? I had to quickly realize that it wasn't happening to me. They were happening for me, right? So in order for me to now use those things as what I call fuel, my faith upgraded to exponential levels, to be able to utilize them so that they can be beneficial to my life, I had to turn them around. So then I started to teach myself. I started to learn different principles. I started to learn the different things. And I took 365 full days in solitude, real solitude, not me hanging out with my friends and just not doing certain things here and there. I'm talking about sitting in my house, being with the Lord, hearing from the heavens, dealing with shedding off things that did not serve me well and really dive into who I was. And so after I learned all of these things, I was like, wait a minute. If I'm going through this, it has to be more people going through this. I could not possibly be alone with 7 billion people in the world, right? So I began to teach other women across the globe the exact same things that I'm going to talk to you about. This, and more stuff. But today is going to be about the ineffective communication. So let me tell you right now, what we're going to discuss right today. We're going to talk about what exactly is effective communication, because a lot of people don't even really know what that is. You say, I'm an effective communicator. You ask people, Are they effective communicators? And they're going to possibly tell you yes. As a matter of fact, in relationships, 83% of women do not feel heard. And guess what? 70% of the men believe that their wives or their spouses or significant others are just naggers. So what's happening there? They're both bouncing off of each other going, wait a minute, you're talking too much, you're not talking enough, you're not listening enough. Something like that is happening. So all these communication barriers are happening and we're not paying attention to them because we're fighting each other instead of fighting the situation, right? So we're going to talk about what's keeping you from being an effective communicator. What are those barriers? What does that look like so that you can start to see those things and stop doing them so that you can turn that around for your good? Again, because these things happen for you, not to you, right? We're going to talk about why being an ineffective communicator is harming you. It's harming your relationships. And if you are an entrepreneur or business owner, you are definitely harming your business. And we're going to talk about that. So we're going to also, lastly, I'm going to talk about the 5 surefire ways to get you to communicating effectively today. If you implement these things, because it's about, they say that knowledge is power. No, I don't think so. I believe that knowledge is the catalyst, or knowledge is the fuel. The power comes in when you start to implement those things and you start to put those things into place so that they're not just sitting, because the knowledge can sit on a desk. The knowledge can sit in a bookcase like they do, right? You can have a bookcase with books. That's the knowledge, right? It's sitting there doing nothing until you pick it up and open it up and get something into you and do something with it. So let's talk about the 3 things that's going to tell you what effective communication is. Effective communication is, first of all, making sure that you're conveying your messages very clearly so that nobody is confused about what it is that you're saying. People know what you're saying. They know what you mean. You know what you're saying. You know what you mean. You're not trying to pull out of the air, what Oz, and what does that mean? Or what am I trying to say? Well, let me try to figure this out. No, you're already communicating that effectively. You have gotten that out. The party that's received that has now taken that in and go, I got you. I'm walking on the same page as you. We're walking down the street together. We are in synergy. We're doing this thing, right? And you guys are now, you're kind of moving in together, right? The second thing is you are listening without an agenda. You are not worried about what everybody else is thinking. And you're not going in saying to yourself, you know what, I'm trying to, I don't know if you guys, I'm probably telling my age here when I say this. I used to play double dutch, right? We played double dutch. And there was this moment where they would be playing with the rope and you're in and you're trying to get yourself in. You're going back and forth trying to find your way, right? And many times people do that in conversations. They're trying to figure out when the moment that they can step in and say exactly what they're saying, what they need to say, what they're meaning, get my point across. I need to drop my point and get my point across. No, you need to be listening without an agenda. Listen to that person fully. Give them your complete attention. Let them know that you are hearing them with your body language, with your eyes, with your facial language. And you're not turning your face up when they say things, because that's agenda, right? When you're listening to somebody and you're doing all of those types of things, they matter. That's an agenda, because now what you're doing is in your mind, you're playing out what it is that you're going to combat that with, right? And combating is a fight. That's a war. So you want to make sure that you're not doing that. Effective communication is gaining full understanding of the other person while being fully understood. So when you are being fully understanding of another person, you are not putting in your views. Your IMO, as they say, in my opinion, is not a part of this. You are not putting in your opinion. You are listening to them because it is their thoughts. It is what's going on with them. It has nothing to do with you. Now, you may be a part of the situation, but what's coming out of their head It's all about them, right? You are gaining understanding, and then you are seeking to be understood. There's a wise proverb that says, seek understanding to then be understood. When you start to do that, then you are effectively communicating. Now, let's move on into the barriers to why you are not being effective in your communication, right? The first thing is people really just don't know. They don't know that they're one, not being effective communicators. They don't know what to do in order to be an effective communicator. And they just think that because, especially grown folk, right? Have you ever heard the term, I'm grown, I know what to do, or I'm grown, I know how to do this, or you don't have to tell me what to do because I'm grown? Well, we hear that a lot. Most people, especially adults, they think that they know it all, right? We've gone through some things, we've figured out some things, and we automatically attach those things to everything in our life, and we know it. So you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it, until you are presented with that. The second thing is lack of confidence. Now, many people don't understand that in order to be an effective communicator, you have to be fully confident. That confidence has to exude through your pores, if you will. Why? Because you're not going to be concerned if you hurt someone's feelings. Now, I want to be clear with that. You want to make sure that you're an effective communicator, but you're not blunt and you're not rude. Now, there's a difference between those two. So, but when I say being an effective communicator and being confident in what you're saying, if you mean something and it's really something that's inside of you and you really want to say it, you will find an effective way to say it. And when you find that effective way to say it, you won't be overly concerned about what someone else is going to say about what you said, right? The third thing is they don't feel heard, right? When a person is trying to feel heard and they're trying to get someone to understand them rather than understanding the other person, they're so busy scowling and pulling for attention. They're pulling for someone to listen. They're pulling, and everything that they're saying is going to be in this defense mode with this big wall up in front of them, and they're in defense mode. So they're seeking to be heard because they don't feel like they're being heard. They don't feel valued in that particular relationship. And when you don't feel valued in your relationship, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to buck every time. And that's going to cause you to be an ineffective communicator. The fourth thing is people are perceptual. We all have our own perception of everything we do. Why? Because we have our own experiences. We have our own situations. We've gone through our own trials and tribulations. We've had our own triumphs and our own challenges. We've had our own life going on here, right? And so we're sitting here thinking to ourselves, wait a minute, I don't care what you're saying because I've been through the same thing and I didn't experience it that way. So when you have not experienced it some type of way that another person has, you're coming from your own perception. So when you're coming from your own perception, sometimes that can put up this wall again and become that barrier to be an effective communicator. Lastly, our emotions, right? So our emotions keep us from being effective communicators. Why? Because emotions and logic are two separate, totally different things. They do not. Have you ever taken magnets? If you ever taken two magnets, because that's how strong the emotions and the logic is, you take those two magnets and you try to put them together, they're going to hover over each other, right? They're never going to do this. You have to take the magnet with something that is going to attract it, and then it comes together. Emotions and logic don't do that. They work separately. So if you are an emotional being, then it's going to be difficult for you to have logic working in your place. So I'm going to talk about that and talk to you about how we can get through that, right? Let's deal with some of the consequences to being an ineffective communicator. The first thing is it's really stressful. When you're trying to get someone to understand you and to get your point across and to get all of this stuff out because you just got to tell people how you feel, you got to speak your mind, you got to do all of these things. That's stressful, not only on your mind, your psyche, but also your body. Effective communicating is a health component that people do not talk about. Why? Because it gives you a sense of calm. You are relaxed when you know that you are getting your point across without struggling in that. The next thing, a consequence, is unmet needs and expectations. So if you don't feel like your needs are being met, that is a part of being an ineffective communicator. And then you have these high expectations for other people to talk, be, and encircle how you are. And we start to put these expectations on other people because we're thinking, hey, if you want what I want, you got to do what I do. And we have to allow people to be exactly who they are. I tell my clients all the time, if you want 100% at least out of anybody, allow them to be exactly who they are. That's allowing you to be an effective speaker and an effective communicator. It's allowing you to be the person that you need to be in order for you to effectively communicate. Why? Because you're worried about you. You're not worried about controlling what they're saying, controlling how they're going to act, controlling how they're going to be. You're just worried about you. Next, you have these arguments, right? The consequences, we're talking about consequences of ineffective communication. There's arguments there. People do not know how to effectively agree to disagree when they are ineffective communicators. They don't know how to say, you know what? Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. And you know what? I respect you for your perception and your experiences and the things that you are saying. But yeah, I don't agree with that. And that is okay. That is a strong indication. Hold on to that you are an effective communicator, right? So another consequence of being an effective communicator is you have dissatisfied partners or clients. People that are working with you or people that you're working for. If you cannot effectively communicate and convey the messages that you're trying to get across, whether it is a message of, as a young lady said earlier while I was sitting backstage, of your brand, if you are ineffectively communicating your brand, then you are not getting that across, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to have dissatisfied clients. You're going to have dissatisfied partners because they're going to be like, well, who are you? What are you trying to do? Right? If you are not making sure that you are effectively communicating your message, you're not going to be able to attract those people that you need to be able to connect with, which means that money, right? Because again, we have to know that when we're doing things, we're coaches, we're business owners, we're whatever you do in your business, you're not doing it because you're just cute and you just really want to do it. You're ultimately doing it to get a check. You're trying to get the coins. You're trying to secure the bag. So if you cannot effectively communicate your market, effectively communicate who you are and what it is that you're trying to say, you're not going to be able to secure that bag. Lastly, again, a consequence of ineffective communication is lack of confidence. You're not going to be able to go into that room and seal that deal. You're not going to be able to have that relationship that you've been wanting all of your life, right? Because when we're younger, we see things on the television. We see things on the channels that we've watched, the programs that we've watched. We see all of those types of things and we go, oh, I want that. But how can you do that if you are not confident in knowing that, one, you can obtain it, two, you have what it takes to get it, and three, you know exactly what to say, what to do, where to go in order to be there in the right place at the right time in order to get it, right? So yeah, this is really great. So I'm really excited about this because I love making sure that people are effectively communicating, because I used to be in that place. I used to be in that place where I would get lost for words, didn't know what to say, would never feel like I was heard, never had the confidence to be able to tell people exactly what I felt without being belligerent, without cursing, without saying things that I just felt I'm going to get off my chest, right? I was that person that was the type of person that just dove in and say things, right? I had to learn these things. And these are some of the things I'm teaching you today. So how do you become an effective communicator? The first thing is you want to check in often. You want to check in with your partner, check in with your business, check in with your clients. Make sure that what you're communicating is getting across the way that you want it to get across. You want to make sure that they're connecting with what you're saying. Then you want to listen more than you talk. We have 2 ears for a purpose, right? That's so that we can listen more and talk less. So we can listen to what our partner needs. We can listen to what our clients need. We can listen to what our business needs. We can listen to even what we need, because sometimes we're so busy moving. That's a part of talking, that we're not listening even to ourselves. We need to also next give patience and have grace to ourselves and grace to the patience of the process of effectively communicating. It may not happen overnight, right? There's going to be some things you're going to have to do. You may have to connect yourself with a coach such as myself or somebody else, where you can get with someone that can help you to get through this and patiently walk you through that whole process, right? You're going to have to then talk about your own responsibility. Take responsibility in your own self to know what part of the ineffective communicating that you have done. Let your partner know, hey, you know what? We haven't been doing this the right way. And I really want to do this the right way. So how do we do this? And I'm going to tell you first and foremost, I'm sorry for what I've done. And I don't like the word I apologize, because I apologize does not really say I am sorry. I am are 2 of the most smallest but the most powerful words that you could ever say. When you say I am, you are taking accountability for that's you. And I am sorry is saying, hey, I repent for that situation. I don't want to do that again, right? So taking responsibility. And lastly, you got to kiss now, KISS. I love acronyms. Acronyms put so much power in one word, right? So you're going to see that about me. I love acronyms. They're all over my place. You're going to KISS now, KISS now. You're going to keep it simple starting now, right? You're going to learn how to just be you, be slow, calm down, and be able to effectively communicate, right? So what do we do here today? The first thing we did was we talked about what is effective communication. How does that look, right? We talked about why it's important. We talked about the barriers of effective communication. Then we talked about the consequences of consequences to ineffective communication. And then I gave you the 5 tips on how to effective communicate right now, right? So in those things, I gave you a lot in the last 20 minutes that we talked, and I know I'm wrapping up my time. So we have to make sure that I want to talk to you now. I want to give you something, right? I want to offer a moment with you. I want to ask you, if you are tired of not getting across and being misunderstood, right? No one really understanding who you are. You feel like the relationships in your life are not healthy. They are not full. They are not giving you exactly what it is that you need out of your life. If you are tired and you're tired of the fear of effectively communicating exactly what's on your heart, what's on your mind, and being able to tell the person and talk with that person effectively to be able to gain that understanding and then to be understood. If you are really just done with making sure that you have confidence in every area of your life, not just one area of your life, not just your personal life or your business life, not just being publicly successful and personally dying, not just, looking like you're successful, but being successful on the inside of you because you are effectively communicating who you are. If you're tired of any of those things, if you want to finally be free and be assertive, if you want to finally live full out loud, then I'm going to offer you some moments with me. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and email me at letstalk at Coach Michelamone. It is spelled the same way on here, Coach Michelamone, without the accent, because that doesn't work in the computers. But let's talk at coachmichelamone.com. Email me and put in the subject field, the Women's Summit. Talk about this. Tell Christy. Put Christy's name in the subject field, and I'm going to give you a free 30-minute relationship strategy session. We're going to either tailor it to your business or we're going to tailor it to your personal life. And I'm going to give you some real good strategies, some solid strategies that you can live in, you can move in, that you can use in your life, right? And that's going to be a free session with me for 30 minutes. I'm going to give that to you because I love Christy's platform. I love what she's doing. And when she's sitting in front of people like you, I know that I'm sitting in front of somebody that's personally that she loves because she loves what she's doing. She's a great woman. She is really passionate about what she's offering to her clients, her tribe, if you will. And since I know that she trusts you and she's giving me the opportunity to sit before you, that means she trusts me, right? So that I'm going to offer you that 30 free minutes. Please go ahead and make sure that you reach out to me for that 30-minute free relationship strategy session.
All right. Thank you so much. You brought it down. You brought it down, sister. Thank you so much for.
Thank you. Thank you.
God. Oh my God, I was getting ready. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. That was really a good talk. So let me see if we have questions for you from our viewers. Let's see if you have questions. There are any questions from our viewers. I don't see any question from our viewers. Let's see. I'm not sure why StreamYard is not allowing me to comment.
Yeah, you cannot. I know that StreamYard, especially if they are doing it from their personal pages, and if you're streaming anything in a group, or if you're streaming anything in a personal page, StreamYard does not allow comments.
Really?
Yeah.
So they allow comments. So I'm streaming it in 3 platforms: groups and personal. But I guess when you select it, I probably have selected personal first, and it's seeing that as the first one. So, but you can comment in a group, right?
You know what? I'm not quite sure about the groups. It doesn't specify about the groups, but I definitely know that you get your comments if you're on a business page, because that business page is wide open. And when people like that page, they're in the background, they are taking on those responsibilities of whatever that page is, that they're accepting that, right?
Okay.
So it doesn't allow you to see comments if you're doing it from a personal page.
Okay. And now I know. Next time, I think I'm gonna try something different. So
yeah,
that clarification, because I was wondering why am I not seeing? Why can't I make comments on my person? But I can see the people are commenting. I can see their comments, but I'm not allowed as the host to comment. So that was really what's surprising. But thank you for that information. So
no problem.
I am going to, we'll talk later there. Thank you so
much. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so everybody, please be sure to contact Michelamone and take advantage of her awesome offer that she's offering us because of the summit and announcement. Please remember that